right now on KGW News. Stuck in court? Try the state Senate.
These measures are disenfranchising Oregonians and making them feel as though they have no voice in their government.
How a new round of proposed gun control is facing fierce opposition. Plus, should students be free to share their pronouns without worrying the school will tell their parents?
Both of my friends were terrified of what could happen if they were outed to their families.
The pronoun policy, some now argue, is putting their classmates at risk. But first, a woman hit with a 35-pound rock is now suing after the brutal attack.
This is the type of attack that could easily end somebody's life.
Why the survivor says officials should have seen all the clues the attack was coming. Good evening, and we begin with an update on a man released from a Portland psychiatric hospital who allegedly attacked a woman on the sidewalk the very same day. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. While the details of this seemingly random attack might be difficult to hear, the woman who survived is now suing the facility, saying the warning signs were crystal clear. Alma McCarty talked to her lawyer this evening, and one of the big questions they seem to have, Alma, how in the world this could happen?
David, given the violent threats and behavior spelled out in court documents, attorney Peter Jancy says it's puzzling that Dwayne Simpson was released from Unity. His client, still suffering from her injuries, is seeking a total of $4 million in damages.
August 9th, 2022. Sonia Gonzalez was standing outside Unity Center for Behavioral Health in the Lloyd District.
Minding her own business, waiting for a ride home, when a man who was unknown to her came up behind her and hit her in the head with a 35-pound rock.
Her attorney, Peter Jancy, explains she fell over, hit her head again on a concrete wall, and was knocked unconscious, bleeding on the sidewalk.
Unfortunately, no one came to her aid, and she was forced to seek shelter on her own and to try to get the attention of security personnel from Unity.
After the attack, Gonzalez suffered a concussion and needed 10 staples in her skull. According to the lawsuit, doctors later diagnosed her with PTSD, and due to the extent of these injuries, she remains on long-term disability leave. This allegedly at the hands of 40-year-old Dwayne Simpson, a patient discharged from Unity that very day. At the time, Portland police said the attack was random, but it wasn't the first time they've dealt with Simpson. Court documents showed threatening 911 calls a month prior.
There are multiple witnesses and police reports that indicate that this individual was making threats, in fact, making very specific threats about wanting to hurt women and wanting to bash someone's head in with a rock. And that's exactly what he did. So the question is, what did Unity or Legacy know about the danger that he posed? And if it was known to them that he was making these types of threats, how did they reach the decision to release him back into the community?
KGW reached out to Unity Center. A spokesperson replied, writing, "We are unable to comment on pending litigation." Though feeling fortunate she survived, Gonzalez's attorney said she hopes the suit will stop an unprovoked attack from happening to someone else.
That's a question that a lot of people that live in our community have right now is how are we responding to a larger mental health crisis? My client's very concerned that if there were failures and if there were breaches in proper protocol, that those get addressed so that this kind of thing can't be repeated.
So, Alma, what else do we know about the suspect, Dwayne Simpson? Where does his case stand now?
Well, David, Simpson was indicted on charges of assault and unlawful use of a weapon. Court records show he was deemed unfit to stand trial back in January and committed to the Oregon State Hospital.
Thanks, Alma. Appreciate you reporting on this tonight. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, starting with what Oregon State Police seized during a traffic stop. In these 3 bags, police say 292 grams of suspected psilocybin mushrooms. Plus, you see multiple firearms. Troopers say they stopped the driver going 86 in a 55 zone on Highway 18 and they arrested that person for a DUI. A local man is being called a hero for saving a person from a house fire. Gresham Fire say they responded to the scene shortly before 9 this morning. With reports a man was still inside, but before they arrived, someone driving through the neighborhood saw the smoke and pulled the man out through a backsliding door. The victim was taken to the hospital with serious burns. No update on his condition and no word on a cause. Portland police have identified the victims killed in a triple shooting Saturday in North Portland. Two of them teenagers who went to local high schools. According to PPS, Eskender Tamra was a junior at Franklin High. Isaac Dowdy was a former Franklin student who attended Roosevelt High. The two were shot to death inside a vehicle on North Foss Avenue in the Portsmouth neighborhood. A 20-year-old identified as Patrick D. Johnson Jr. was also killed. In this case, no arrests have been made. Well, tonight we have new details coming in from Nashville after the mass shooting that killed 6 people at an elementary school there, including 3 children, all 9 years old. Police say they have learned more about the shooter, a 28-year-old who once attended Covenant School. According to investigators, they were seeing a doctor for a, quote, emotional disorder. We showed you the surveillance video last night for the first time. Police adding the shooter bought 7 firearms from 5 different stores, all of them legally. Nashville police also released body cam video of officers responding and eventually killing that shooter, though we are choosing not to show you any of that video tonight. Well, meanwhile, here in Oregon, lawmakers are debating a gun control bill that essentially mirrors a lot of new regulations that are stuck in the courts. Voters narrowly passed Measure 114 in November. And as Evan Watson explains, some critics say this new effort is, in effect, a runaround.
The debate is back. What should Oregon do about guns? And if it feels all too familiar to you, Republican State Senator Kim Thatcher would agree.
It is the season. It's that part of session. The gun control, or actually gun owner control, advocates are in full force. They basically say, in essence, we need these laws in the name of public health and safety. And the other side says these proposals will have little effect on public health and safety, but will make law-abiding citizens less safe.
In November, Oregon voters passed Measure 114, banning high-capacity magazine sales and creating a permitting and background check system to buy guns. Measure 114 is being contested in court. Now lawmakers are considering Senate Bill 348. It includes parts of Measure 114 and then adds more regulations. Senate Bill 348 would raise the minimum age to purchase a gun to 21, postpone the permit requirement until July of 2024, raise permit fees from $65 to $150, add gun safety course requirements, and allow more time for background checks and waiting periods for gun transfers. Thatcher and other critics say this bill could circumvent the legal challenges to Measure 114.
The constitutionality of the provisions of this measure have been challenged and are being challenged, and yet this bill will short-circuit that process.
This amendment goes beyond ballot measure 114's already unconstitutional requirements, like the increase in fees, time, delay, age restriction increases, and retroactive magazine bans.
A representative for Oregon Alliance for Gun Safety said the bill would create a safer system of permits and background checks that gives police more money and structure to make it work.
The -1 amendment to Senate Bill 348 makes some important changes to aid in the implementation of the new permit system and ensures that law enforcement has the tools and resources they need to implement the measure.
Most of the speakers at Monday's public hearing opposed the bill.
These measures are disenfranchising Oregonians and making them feel as though they have no voice in their government. I pray that you will let Senate Bill 348 die.
And hundreds of people have submitted written testimony online, mostly in opposition.
I had a customer come into my store and she was scared. She had a threatening neighbor. Police couldn't do anything because they hadn't harmed anybody yet. With this bill going through, she'd have to wait days, and she didn't have days.
It's Evan Watson reporting there. Well, new at 11, a bizarre theft in downtown Portland. Police tweeting out these photos of a man they say stole a forklift and then started to chase pedestrians. They say they found him driving erratically and the wrong way on Southwest Harvey Milk and 4th Avenue. He was taken into custody. No word if he faces any charges there. Well, new this evening, a school policy on pronouns led to a passionate debate in La Center tonight. At issue, a change allowing the school to notify parents if a student changes their pronouns, with some voicing concerns that could cause harm to students. Catherine Cook sent us this report a short time ago.
Many shared that to them, the district's policy feels like a don't ask, don't tell mandate on gender identity. Deeper than that, they're afraid that if it doesn't change, it could severely impact the mental health of some students.
You are throwing away our lives in the name of politics.
One after another, community members went before the La Center School Board. They shared very different perspectives on the district's new gender-inclusive policy.
May we truly discern the truth, and I must say this again, let there be light. There's only male and female. God bless each of you.
According to recent changes in policy, teachers are not to ask students about their pronouns. Also, if a student volunteers pronoun information and a parent asks the school about whether their student has requested a name or pronoun change, the school will inform them.
My parents didn't know about my gender identity until I was in sophomore year when I was forcibly outed by a high school staff member. A member of my family was furious to the point where they physically abused me to the point where I could no longer attend school.
Right now, students are being given the choice between staying in the closet at school or being forcibly outed to their families, which is incredibly, incredibly dangerous for their mental health.
Emily Hancock is a 2017 La Center grad and queer activist. She and others are grateful for community members and teachers who are taking action. Some filed a complaint against the policy to the State Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction.
It could take 6 months before they start the investigation, so until that happens, where the policy changes, here we are.
I want to thank all the teachers that signed the civil rights complaint. It feels really lonely right now, and it's good to know we're not alone.
Still others embrace the district's policies and feel they clarify other issues related to gender identity.
If we keep dealing with pronouns, we have to deal with it creates further issues in sports, what bathrooms to use, and much more.
How about instead of harmful transphobic policies, you all stop obsessing about the genitals in kids' pants, because that's all you're doing, and start focusing on policies that promote inclusion and safety and support.
In La Center, Catherine Cook, KGW News.